Do you know what that means, Frank, that it's 5:30?
I do.
Frank J. Parisi, J being the operative. Let's roll 'em. Welcome to Anatomy of an Entrepreneur, the show where anything can happen. Even magicians disappear. Like our magician in the pre-show, Mike Mayone. He was here and poof, now he's gone. This is a show where we inspire anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur that they all have the talent to do it. You need the drive, you need the tools, you need the guidance, and you've got to put in a lot of hard work. And you too can become a successful entrepreneur. And every week we bring on a different entrepreneur. So let's take care of a little housekeeping. First of all, this show, which I think is getting long in the tooth, is brought to you by My Instant Office. If you need a desk, a chair, you want to use a conference room, you need a commercial kitchen. No, you need a closed office. Come on in, sit down, and get to work. You know what we say? Just add yourself. And this show is also brought to you by the Huntington Chamber of Commerce. Guest Alan Gauthier. Did you know that the Huntington Chamber of Commerce is the largest chamber of commerce on Long Island?
Really?
This is a true story.
Wow.
I just found this out a year and a half ago when
Wow.
we started doing the show. Well, you know that the Fall Festival,
Yeah.
they get up to 250,000 people go to that.
Do they really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed.
Have you done that thing?
I've never participated in it before, but I've been there many times.
Well, you might want to consider it now that you know they get
Yeah.
250,000 people
Oh yeah,
going
definitely.
in there.
Great publicity.
And you have like little arrows pointing right to Babalu. Anyway, so I was speaking with the Associate Director, Courtney Bino,
Yeah.
about the chamber, and I said, look, I'm doing the show, you're sponsoring it. What do I say about you? And she said, just say, we're the best darn chamber in the world.
Yeah. That's about right.
So that's about it. That's all I got.
If you were to spell your first and last name, how would you do that?
First name Alan, last name Gotay.
And this is why I love this show. Because you just don't know what's going to happen, especially when Frank J. Parisi is in the room. Okay. And this is why they pay him the big bucks. Yeah. So anyway, welcome to the show. Today's guest is a young man from Huntington.
Originally from Syosset, live in Huntington now.
Ah, originally from Syosset. He's from Huntington now. He started a career. He's now a chef, but he had a career in boxing, of all things.
Yep.
And we'd like to welcome him to the show. He's got a fascinating journey. Welcome, Alan Gauthier,
Yes.
Gotay.
Thank you.
We got that, Frank?
Got it.
And did you spell it right?
Yes.
How many S's did you put in Gauthier?
There's two, I think. Right?
Two. Yep.
Okay, good. We're good.
Perfect.
Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
I'm
me.
very excited you're here. One of the reasons is because I love your restaurant.
Awesome.
And
Glad
you
to
do a
hear
great
that.
job, and I can see the heart and soul you put into it.
Yeah.
So here's how I start with guests. I start by saying, in like 1 minute or less, who is Alan Gauthier?
I think Alan Gauthier is a person that wants to do better for not only himself, but better for his family and his the people that support him and surround him with love and life that he has, and he just wants to be able to somehow, in some way, make it a little easier.
Have you always been like that?
I think so. I mean, I don't know where it stemmed from, but I think I've always been driven, a little bit stubborn. I am a Taurus, so that lends to me being stubborn.
Driven, stubborn, and I'm going to guess also positive attitude.
Yeah. I mean, like everyone else, you have your good days, you have your bad, but tomorrow's going to be a new day, and you got to keep moving forward.
What were you like as a kid? Were you quiet? Were you extroverted? Were you
No.
a troublemaker?
No,
What were you?
definitely not. Ever since the very beginning, I was a troublemaker. I was born almost premature. I was born as well 5 weeks early, and I was sent into the NICU because I had a lot of issues and a lot of problems, and so I was always causing a problem from the very beginning. Very active, very, very hyper, always getting in trouble, always misbehaving, and kind of always just doing my own thing.
And I'm going to skip ahead. Where did you turn the corner? Because obviously you're about 180 degrees from where you were.
For sure. I mean, I think it all stemmed from, I mean, I grew up, started playing sports when I was 2 years old, always an athlete. Growing up as a teenager, getting in trouble, and just not making the right decisions. And I think it really stemmed from when I started boxing, when I decided to turn to boxing as an outlet when I was 16.
So I want to dig into
Yeah,
this because to me it's fascinating that you're a boxer. First of all, I don't know many boxers.
Yeah.
The second one is you're a kid from Syosset, okay? What do you do in boxing? That's number two.
Yeah.
And number three is, where did the interest in boxing come from?
Yeah, I mean, I think the interest was, my father was a karate and judo specialist growing up, and I grew up in the martial arts. But my grandfather was a professional fighter in Puerto Rico. He just passed away a couple weeks ago now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. But, so I always grew up watching footage, watching boxing. I still remember the first show, The Contender, about 10, 15 years ago now, with Sugar Ray Leonard. I was watching that as a teenager, and that caught my interest. And I always had a drive and a competitiveness about me that was different from the team sports. And I just knew for some reason I wanted to learn.
Is that what got you out of trouble? Was that
Yeah.
you started to focus on something? And
Yeah.
did you have a lot of hostility and anger, and you were able to get it out that way? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, ever since I was a kid and I was very young, I grew up. I had a lot of issues with anger management and things like that.
So you were an angry kid.
Yeah. So and I always needed an outlet, and therapy and things like that just weren't for me. And when I turned to boxing, it gave me that outlet. And even when I was getting in trouble and misbehaving, boxing gave me the perseverance and the discipline to have a goal and achieve that goal.
And did you have, I mean, because here's the other thing.
Yeah.
So you had a good focus, which was boxing, but there had to be some sort of a mentor who you looked up to, who helped you further yourself and also helped keep you on the straight and narrow. Am I correct?
Oh, definitely. I think.
Who was that?
I mean, honestly, I say my father was my first boxing instructor, but I also say my first mentor was my mother. Watching her, my family was separated when I was young, and just watching the drive and the dedication that both my father and my mother had to themselves as individuals to kind of get the job done and do what you say you were going to do, even when you didn't want to do it. I think that my surroundings lend towards me kind of shaping my own personality in that sense.
How old were you when they separated?
I was 5. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was very young. I was 5 years old. But that kind of stemmed from a lot of turmoil but then again, both as individuals and as parents shaped me to be my own individual and kind of step out and take chances and take risks and do
Right.
things that I was not always most comfortable with.
So were you studying martial arts, or were you studying boxing, or did you do MMA? Or
I did martial arts until I was about 12 years old. So I did karate and judo, and then stopped when I started with primary school and things like that, and picked up boxing when I was 16.
did you pick up boxing because of your grandfather? And you watched all those videos?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I also, from seeing the videos and seeing it on TV and just, I think just something about it attracted me. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I had to do it.
So you started boxing Now, when did you start getting in the ring and like really fighting other guys? Were you like 16 when you started doing that?
Yeah, yeah. My first person I ever sparred was my father. And
How did that go?
I got hit with the left hook and I saw stars. So
Your father hit you with a left hook?
oh yeah, yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Pop.
For sure. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, not long after that, a year pretty much after I first started training, had my first amateur fight, and little do you know, and at that point I pretty much knew that was.
I got to show a picture of you boxing.
Yeah.
Not a video, but a picture. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What's going on in that picture?
That was
And
first.
why are you all red? Is that makeup?
No, I think probably
Frank,
me
can you bring that
plus makeup. Me plus
Thanks.
the photographer's take on the photo. But that was the first round knockout on ESPN Friday Night Fights.
Right, so you obviously had some little bit of a career going because I saw NBC cameras following you.
Yeah.
And I also saw these very attractive women interviewing you after matches, and they'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Alan, tell us what happened." And they'd be touching you,
Yeah.
and you're like, and you go, "Well, I'm single right now." And
Yeah, yeah. So I turned pro in 2012, and
what? No,
and,
seriously, your face. Tell me about your face in that picture. What's going on? Did you get hit a lot?
No, I whenever I was boxing, I was always. That's the complete opposite of the way I am now. Whenever I was boxing, any picture that you ever took of me fighting had that same exact face.
I saw some pictures of you on the internet today. As a matter of fact, Frank, can you go to that Instagram picture, the first one? You're one mean dude.
Yeah.
Like, I would not want to meet. When I first met you, I'm going, this is a skinny dude. First of all, there's no fat on you and there's all muscle.
Yeah.
And look at that face. Like, I would not want to be like messing around with you.
Yeah, I mean, I always had that same face when I was boxing.
Did that scare your opponents?
I like to think, I hope it did. I mean, they were usually always scarier than I was, the way they looked.
But you did pretty well.
But I did pretty well. I went 8-0 in my first 8 fights, 4 knockouts, and
You know, as a matter of fact, we have a video of you fighting. Frank, if you could keep the audio low, I would like Alan, if he could, to kind of describe this fight.
yeah.
Tell us what's going on here.
This was my 3rd pro fight against the National Golden Gloves champ from Ohio. I was young, I was inexperienced, but I was in my first step-up fight, and I had to prove it to myself and my trainers and my promoter that I was going to be in there to fight. And we went the distance, and I outboxed the boxer.
You did?
Yeah.
So how many rounds is that?
This one was a 4-round fight.
It's a 4-round fight.
one was a 4-round
I can
fight.
imagine after 1 round being very tired.
Yeah, I mean,
4 rounds is a lot of energy. So here you are with this guy, and you clocked him. You went the distance and you beat this guy.
yeah, I beat this guy by decision on the scorecards, and I mean, it was a great fight. I still think,
Yeah.
even though I won this fight, it was my worst fight as I turned pro,
Was it really?
for sure.
Now, here's the other thing I did notice about you. You're one mean, badass dude. And then after the fight, you're like, after the end of the fight, I saw you hugging your opponent as if you were best friends.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that normal?
I think so. For me, it is. I mean, it's
Look, there you are.
yeah. You know, when I sign up, whenever I do anything, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it, and I sign on the dotted line, and the job has to get done, regardless of the outcome.
Yes.
Win, lose, or draw.
So it's a job.
It's a job, and
And I've seen you talk about it on Instagram when you were still boxing. I saw
Yeah.
some videos of you going like, hey, I'm just going to keep, I have the drive. I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
working hard. This is not easy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep doing it. And that seems, you can bring us back to the set now, Frank. And that seems to be like your philosophy in life.
I think so. I mean,
How do you get rid of your pent-up anger now, or is it gone?
it's definitely not gone. It's very much there, and I think it's what continues to drive me, as well as the good side and the bad.
Yeah.
It continues to push me every single day, and when I'm cooking and when I am in the kitchen, it comes out, just because I know a job needs to be done, regardless of the way people think or what they say about me. I'm here to do a job and treat it as that.
How did you get through the challenges of when you were in a fight and you lost? What did you do? Like, how did you, I mean, it's got to be a blow to your ego no matter who you are.
Yeah, it definitely was. I still remember my first loss. It was at the Paramount here in Huntington Village. I was 8-0, lost by decision, and I've seen many people lose there, including my training partners that I used to train with all the time. And I've seen them lose, I've been at the fights, and they never came out to their supporters. But me, myself, I don't handle losing well. I'm a very ultra-competitive person. But whenever I did lose, I came out to my supporters right away. Whether I was crying, upset, or sad, or angry, I owed it to them to be there to be supportive, because they were there to support me. And I think if you can stand up and look at yourself and say, okay, I did this, I can accept it and then move forward, I think.
Did you feel like you let them down?
I did. I'm always the type of person that I put the most pressure on myself every single day. Not only because I want to continue to move forward, but I think it's a part of me that keeps me moving forward.
Right. So it was a passion. By the way, you know, your girlfriend can come in here if she feels like sitting in here.
No, of course, yeah.
Does she want to sit in here?
No, I mean, she's okay.
She knows she can come in here if she wants. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah, she stepped outside to make a phone call before.
okay. So, but anyway, so it's your passion.
Yeah.
This boxing is a passion. I'm going to say it still is a passion.
Of course.
By the same token, you gave it up.
Yes.
Why?
When I first turned pro in 2012, I said I'm going to give myself 3 years to the day. 3 years to the day, whether I knew it was for me or not. And pretty much exactly 3 years to the day was when I stopped fighting, or I decided to make a change. I love this sport and I love what it's given me, and I owe a lot of who I am today to what it has given me, but I knew it wasn't a life that I always wanted to owe it to others, my success. And the business besides boxing, I believe that it's not for my personality, never was, and I love the sport, but the business is not what I was signed up for.
So you didn't want to go on the other side of the ring because you
No.
felt that was not for you. Either I'm in the ring or I'm out of the business.
Yeah, yeah.
And while you were boxing, you found that nutrition was a very important part
Yeah.
of boxing. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And that started your passion for cooking.
I think so. I definitely think so.
What happened? What were you doing? What were you making? What were you doing? And what did you find out?
When I first started boxing, I saw a few nutritionists. I saw a few people that I knew I needed to learn, and I needed to not only learn about nutrition, about food, about health, about fitness. I needed to be able to do it for myself, because at the time I didn't have anybody to support me as far as financially in my boxing career. So I knew I needed to.
Were you making money?
That's the thing too. Boxing, there's no, what people may see and what people actually make is two different things.
Gotcha.
And I never made any money when I was boxing. So it makes it very difficult. I was still working 5 days a week while I was training as a professional athlete.
What were you doing?
I started working in the restaurant industry when I was 14 years old.
Ah.
So I was always waitering in restaurants, involved in some way or another, in and out, throughout my boxing career in high school.
Gotcha. So I interrupted you, and you were talking about the
yeah.
passion for food and how you learned about nutrition when you were boxing. Did that help a lot?
It definitely did. I mean, it gave me the ability to be able to cook for myself and not only cook for myself, but feed my body and work with what works for me. Because every person is different. No one single person can eat the same as another and treat their body the same. So it gave me the ability to learn about not only about food, about nutrition, about spices, and learn about cooking and techniques, and
Right.
it gave me the knowledge.
So now you're at that 3-year mark, and you said, okay, that's it, I'm done. Did you know you were going to go into culinary at that point?
Well, at about 3 years, I always knew that it intrigued me, and at that time I had already started learning about cooking and enjoyed it, and my family and everyone always liked what I was making, and I started looking at local culinary schools and local colleges for cooking, and I decided to take the plunge because I knew regular college wasn't for me.
Right.
And I knew I needed something if I was going to continue boxing.
So you go to culinary school, you
Yeah.
probably get a full-blown passion for it, you graduate college.
Yep.
Did you know you're going to go into business right away? Did you go work for other people? What happened?
No, I worked on Long Island. I worked at Lola, a restaurant in Great Neck, and then took a few months off, went back into boxing, had 2 more fights. They didn't go my way, and then after that I decided that I had my degree, I had my knowledge, and I went to work in the city. And after 1 month of working in the city, I ended up moving to the city, and spent almost a year working, living, and cooking in the city.
At a restaurant, you were like a sous chef or
Yeah,
chef?
I worked at Bobby Flay's Bar Americaine
Oh, cool.
in Midtown, and then at the same time I was working 7 days a week, 2 full-time jobs. I was working at Bobby Flay's in the morning, and then I also got another full-time job at Armani Restaurant, which is in Madison and Fifth Avenue.
Right.
A high-end fine dining Michelin level restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So I was working 1 job in the morning, and then I would walk a few blocks to my second job to work at night.
So you really put in your time and paid your dues
Yeah.
when you're ready.
Yeah.
So then what gave you the idea to open up your restaurant, Babalu?
I don't know. I always knew I kind of wanted to work for myself. I don't know why, but I just knew that if I believed in something and I believed in what I was doing,
Yeah.
I thought I could do it better.
How long did you plan it before you actually opened it?
Probably about 5 to 6 months, because my mom, I was living in the city, and she approached me with the idea that the restaurant where we are now was a vacant unit, and I had already expressed the idea to her that I wanted to look, and if the right spot came available, we were going to figure it out and we were going to do it.
And you were going to be partners with your mom?
Yeah, and she made a phone call. She let me know this spot was available. I came home on a Sunday, and we went to see the space, and I met the landlord. I was with my mom, and the first visit I knew that this was going to be the space that we were going to do something.
That's really cool.
And it started from there.
So we have some pictures. I want to
Yeah.
show a few pictures. Frank, if we could start with the inside of, oh yeah, just one more. What is that with you with the NASCAR?
Oh, well, when I grew up enjoying anything that was fast enough to do something silly or stupid in. And I went to Farmingdale State College for automotive engineering for 2 years. And I was always involved in mechanically and racing and underneath engines and things like that. So I love driving. It's another passion of mine. It's something I really love to do.
Yeah.
And I did that in Daytona Speedway. I drove about 10 laps around the NASCAR racetrack, went 160 miles an hour, and it was a cool experience.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I just want to show, here's the inside of
Yeah.
your restaurant, just like a little table set up. It's just like a cute little setup.
Yeah.
And then you have this really nice bar. It's just a very inviting, cozy atmosphere in there.
Yeah.
Right?
no,
And you guys built, you designed this yourselves? Did you build it yourself? And
Yeah, I mean, I got luckily for myself and my mother and my family, we have a contractor that we just come to make him part of our family that helped us make the build out of our restaurant The design, the decor is a mixture of myself, my mother, my sister, everyone kind of lending their hand in their styles.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and the tables we made, the kitchen we built out, the chairs we painted ourselves. So everything from start to finish we kind of did ourselves.
Frank, skip the next one with the green and go to the drink. You guys are like really, you make some really nice drinks in there.
Yeah.
What was that drink?
That,
I'll tell you what that is.
yeah, please.
That is a wine mojito.
Yeah.
How was that,
And
Lori?
It's fantastic.
Why?
I've had like 4 already.
Today?
No, not today. But when I went back to work after the first time, I
Yeah.
went in and I said, guys, I just had something called a wine mojito. And there is no such thing as a wine
No.
mojito except for your restaurant.
Yeah.
Then when we went back, I said, I'm going to have a wine mojito. And Lori said, what is that? And I'm like, just have it. And all she talked about the next day was that wine mojito.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
no,
very
yeah.
original and it's very like summery. It's a fantastic drink.
And it's just a cozy place. I just really enjoy the
Yeah,
environment
me
there,
too.
yeah,
I
right?
very much like it there.
So, but then I walked to the back of the restaurant
Yeah.
to go see you, and there was this box filled with pretty fast footwork, Frank. A box of green plantains,
Yep.
and you told me you go through 4 big boxes a
Yeah.
week of plantains.
Yeah.
What are you doing with them? Are you smoking them? What are you doing?
I mean, making everything. I mean, we make mofongo, we make tostones, we make plantain chips that are.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Don't go any further with that one. But yeah,
Yummy.
Yeah, we make those. We make plantain chips
And-
with
go ahead.
the plantains. So
Right.
we literally, it's our staple ingredient. that
Yes.
we use
So,
in everything.
as a matter of fact, when we walk in the door, that's what we get right away.
Yeah.
Out comes those to the table.
Yeah.
I turned my head just for a minute to take a picture, and
They're
I
gone.
turned it
Gone.
back, and guess what I saw in that bowl?
That. 3 left.
That's what I saw in the
Yeah.
bowl,
Yeah.
of which I got 1. I had to share.
Yeah.
They were
They're
very
excellent.
good. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're homemade there.
Yeah.
It's not like you open up a bag of plantains
No.
and put them out.
No. Yeah.
And I noticed that everything that you make there is homemade. I even walked in the back where you were working. I go, what are you doing? He goes, you said, oh, I'm making ice cream. I said, what? You said you make your own
Yeah,
ice cream.
yeah,
there.
we do.
And everything there is from scratch. As a matter of fact, let's go to, that's you working in the kitchen, right? So that's you working
Yeah.
in the kitchen there. You're bending over, you're working in the
Yeah.
kitchen. And then I saw you making some kind of appetizer, which I think ended up on our table, and you're putting some kind of a sauce on top of
Yeah.
it. You see that right there?
Yeah.
And then that's the end product.
Yeah.
That
What
was
is
the
that?
special.
Yeah, that's special. So, and every Spanish person, every person that's ever made rice knows what the bottom of the rice pot is.
I can tell you, it's called they make it in paella. It's the crust on the rice on
Yeah.
the bottom, and it
You
is
know this,
called.
Sobel.
How am I forgetting it now?
I can't believe you forgot
Yeah,
this.
I
You
know,
what
because
this is.
I used to go to La Nacional, and their sister starts with a T. No. What's it called? How could I forget? I'm the one who told you about this.
So disappointed in you
It's
right
the
now.
crust where the crust
I-
meets the
right.
paella pan.
Yeah.
And it's called it's called sakarat.
Sakura, yeah. Every culture and every discipline, everybody has their own name or word for it. In Puerto Rican, I've always called it pagao, and so this is that was kind of my take on the bottom of the rice pot. I think that's the best part.
Totally, that's what makes a good
yeah.
like paella. I know
Yeah.
you don't make paella there,
Yeah.
but it's,
and it was just my take on the bottom of the rice pot.
I think
And,
Lori ate most of that.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I ate, the tabbouleh.
Oh yeah,
Obsessed. I'm obsessed
Oh yeah, the
with it.
tabbouleh was
The
great.
tabbouleh.
So
Obsessed.
to me, that didn't taste like tabbouleh. It tasted like a barley or something.
Well, that is barley, so it's my take on a traditional tabbouleh.
Oh, gotcha. Can you go back to that, Frank? What is
Yeah, so-
in that? Because it is quite tasty.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of people have asked, vegetarians and vegans ask for salads and things like that, and I'm not I've never been a fan of a traditional salad. So anything I can do to make it different. And our tabbouleh is barley. It's got pomegranates, golden raisins.
It's absolutely
so
delicious. Also, I noticed you take a lot of care in the presentation.
Yes.
And it's not like you're like this really high-end restaurant.
No.
But even though you're not a high-end restaurant, you still take the time to make sure everything looks very appetizing and it's visually appealing with the placement, the composition, and the colors.
Yeah. I think most people, or most chefs, or most cooks, or anything really, you eat with your eyes first. You do anything with visual and with your vision and what you see first. If you're visually attracted to it, it's gonna intrigue you, and it's gonna intrigue your senses and want you to know more about it. And
or it also creates an impression of what something's going to be like.
Yes, yes, and whether it's something small or something big, whether it's food or something completely different, it's if you see it and you're attracted to it first, I think you're going to be that much more excited to try it.
Empanadas. Frank, we got empanadas?
Empanadas.
Those are terrific. Do you you make those there?
No.
Do you make the dough also?
Yeah. Well, when we first opened the restaurant, I tried making the dough a few times, but the amount of empanadas we go through, I can't do that. So we don't make the dough, but we make literally everything else.
You do?
Frank, go to the next one. That's Pete.
Yeah, right, and that's the person eating them.
Yeah.
That's our friend Pete, and I got him honking his mouth around that empanada.
He didn't actually talk for 5 minutes because he was so busy eating.
We had to get him a snorkel.
Yeah. He was loving it.
To come up for air.
And then just the last one, the middle one with the avocado on it. Yep, that one. This is the tuna ceviche.
Yeah, so
I can't. It has goat cheese in it, which I've never had it mixed with that before. I happen to love goat cheese. So I'm completely obsessed with this. I've had it twice since I've been there. It's so good.
Most people say you can't pair cheese and fish.
Oh,
you did it. You successfully did it.
It's
I think you
unbelievable.
can.
It
You
is
did it,
so
and with that,
delicious.
and with that schmear of guacamole on top.
It's just
so
the whole thing is amazing.
It's outstanding.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
So I think.
And you're not even paying us to say this.
No,
no,
he doesn't have to.
I wish you would.
Oh,
but you're not.
It's outstanding.
It was amazing.
Thank you.
So, were there any other food? Oh, were there any other foods there? There was like beans and rice. Oh, that meat.
Yeah.
I got that. I decided to have that not on top of the rice because I kind of keep my carb count down.
Of course.
So I had a little bit of rice, but the spices. What were the spices in that?
Yeah. So, from my background, when I was boxing, I cooked with a lot of Mediterranean spices, as well as my background in cooking. I worked at a few Mediterranean restaurants, and they lent themselves towards turmerics and cumin and coriander and spices that are not only aromatic, they're good for your digestion, good for your health, and just good for your body. So in that ground beef, I use a lot of cumin and cilantro and basil, oreganos, things like that to make it aromatic and make it a little bit more flavorful.
It was very good.
Yeah.
And I don't like cilantro.
Yeah.
I can't stand cilantro.
Yeah.
Like, don't even put it in a room near me.
Yeah.
But I didn't really taste a lot of cilantro.
No. Yeah, I try.
good.
Yeah, I try and complement each flavor that, whether it's something sweet, salty, spicy, or sour. I try and complement it with the opposite ingredient.
Gotcha.
To balance out your senses.
Yeah. Well, it was really amazing. And then you also have music.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Now, is that the same guy you have every week? Do you have somebody different?
We
What's the story?
we have 3 different musicians right now. We have a traditional guitarist, Aran Polak. He's a traditional Spanish guitarist.
He's pretty good.
And then we have him, who his name is Pano. He's a gypsy style Mediterranean guitarist and musician. And he's been playing with us probably for about a year and a half now.
That's all his own music that he plays.
Yeah, all his own music. So he's a singer-songwriter, and and he makes and plays and sings all his own music, and I mean he's great at what he does.
It adds to the atmosphere.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
So before we move on to the
Yeah.
cooking part of this,
Yeah.
there's one more picture I saw outside your store, which is that.
yes.
Can you explain what that's all about?
That is going to be.
Are you opening up Italy out here on Long Island? What's the story?
Yeah, that is going to be the future of our restaurant.
So how many tables do you have now?
Right now, we have about 7 to 8 tables.
How do you make a living on 7 or 8 tables without pushing people out the door so fast?
I mean, it's hard, but we've been doing it successfully for 2 years now.
It was smart that you're managing your growth.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea to this in the very beginning was start small. And that's kind of the future in the next couple months to come. But it's funny about that picture there is 2 years ago when we first opened 2017, we were at a restaurant and I flipped over a placemat and drew a picture on the back of the placemat of my restaurant now and the expansion of the restaurant. And I wrote Babalu 2018 on it. And a year later, in 2018, we started the process of the expansion of the restaurant. And now that's the final, what it hopefully will look like come July, come August.
Wow, that's awesome. So you have 7 or 8 tables. How many tables are you adding?
We're hopeful for around 45 seats, give or take. So 10 to 14 tables.
More.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
essentially doubling our footprint.
Yeah, well, more because you're not using the kitchen or the prep area.
Yes.
So that's all going to be tables now.
Yes. Yeah. It will all be tables.
Right. How do you manage to maintain the quality of your product when you start to grow like that?
A lot of sleepless nights. But yeah, I think it all comes down to me being hands-on. I know as you continue to grow, a lot of the restaurants and a lot of the name brands tend to lose quality because there are more hands on the product. But I think as we continue to grow, it's going to be that much more important that I am there, hands-on in the kitchen, managing not only the food, but the quality and the way it goes out of the kitchen. So it's going to come down to hiring and finding the right people to kind of make the team grow and move forward and make a successful restaurant. And that'll come with time.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I know you're managing your growth.
Yeah.
But you're going to be in a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Well, you are in a roller coaster now, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes when there's a night where you're like, well, we're not so busy tonight.
Yeah.
You must, because I know as a business owner,
Yeah.
and I owned a very successful business for a long time where
Yeah.
the most successful years, we could still be slow for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going out of business.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's not really the truth. It's
No.
just things happen in cycles. So how
Yeah.
do you deal with that?
You know, I just think I definitely deal with it with the support that I have with my girlfriend and my mom, and who's not only my partner, but I just think of just, even though there's maybe times I want to run, just having the ability to take a step back.
A constant theme that I've heard during this program is the support that you have.
Yeah.
Your mom, your girlfriend, your
We
sister.
met your mom.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
met your mom the other
Yeah.
night. and-
Letitia.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very nice.
Yeah.
She was very nice. And then we met your stepsister, I think. She was behind the bar one night.
That.
Your half sister.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
She was. We were
Half-sister.
chatting away
Yeah,
with her
half-sister,
too.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, but support is very important to you.
Yeah.
So, like, does that motivate you, and how?
I don't think it motivates me. 'Cause I really don't believe in motivation per se.
What does it do
'cause
for you?
It drives me. I'm a very driven individual, but I know where I want to go. I don't know how I want to get there, but I know where I see myself.
Right.
And and with the support and the belief of of the people that support me, I can get there, and
Very
keeps
cool.
me going.
So what are you going to make for us tonight?
So
That Lori and I and
Yes.
Frank J. Parise are going to eat
Oh
along
my
with his
God.
cupcakes.
It doesn't matter what it's going to be. I'm going to love it.
Yeah,
I'm like
so-
one of your number one fans
Oh,
right
listen,
now.
thank
I'm
you
like,
so
oh my
much.
God,
Thank you
you
so
have to
much.
go
Yeah, I'm
here.
thinking about
I
saying, do
love
you
it.
have like a loan center in your restaurant? Because I know maybe
I know.
Lori and Aaron
Yeah.
a lot.
yeah. So this is a take on Brussels sprouts. When I was boxing and when I was training and when I was eating a lot of vegetables, I used to love Brussels sprouts. The bitterness, the crunchiness, the way you eat it. I wanted to try and do it in a different interpretation.
Will it
So-
stink in here?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But this is our Brussels sprout, shaved Brussels sprout salad. It's served warm, so we saute the Brussels sprouts with the little pistachios, golden raisins,
Cool.
roasted squash, and beets.
Very
And
cool.
it's something light, something healthy, something that I think can speak to not only vegetarians, vegans, all dietary needs, and people included. So it's something light and fresh and hopefully tasty.
Shelby wants to help you cook.
I know.
Oh
Come here,
yeah.
Shel.
Oh
Come on,
yeah.
old lady. Come over here.
Do you want to help cook?
Come on, old lady. Come on.
By the way, give us your website address. I forgot to put it in the system. Frank, could you, what is it, Babalu?
Yeah, it's www.babaluny.com.
B-A-B-A-L-U.
One more time. B-A-B.
A-L-U. N-Y.com.
And the address of the restaurant as well.
Yeah, the address is 286 New York Avenue,
Right. Just north of 25A.
just north of 25.
Just past Girard Street.
Yeah, just past Girard and the book review, which most people
know.
use it as a
Right.
landmark. 'Cause
Yeah, right.
Anyone that's been to Huntington, I think
Right, they know the book review.
They know
Right.
the book review.
You know what? Pretty soon they'll be using your place as the landmark.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get to it. So every week we actually shave these Brussels sprouts by hand. So
Oh, cool.
it's a painstaking process, but nonetheless, I think it has to be done. And we cook these beets, we roast the squash, and we kind of make all the components ourselves.
Okay.
So this is just a little stovetop burner that we'll use for the interim, being that we're not in a professional kitchen. And this is just a little olive oil and vinaigrette that we use here for the salad, and we just kind of fill up the pan with a little bit of Brussels sprouts, and then we serve a little bit of beets, a little bit of roasted squash. This has a little bit of cinnamon on it.
Oh, nice.
Because who doesn't love some cinnamon?
Who
Pistachios,
Do you come up with all these recipes?
all the recipes.
You just happen to know what tastes good with something else and what doesn't overpower something else, or is that what you learned in school?
I think
Or both.
not only what I learned in school, but just my intrigue for trying things that I don't think can work, and that I do think can work. And there's a lot of things that I have tried that
So what
don't
the
work.
norm says can't work, and you say, I'm going to make it work.
Yeah, pretty much. And
It's very nice to look at. It's colorful, and I
Yeah.
think that's what people, if it looks good, people are going to try it. You make
Yeah.
all of your dishes look very colorful.
yeah, I mean, you need, it not only needs to look good on the plate, it needs to look good visually.
Right.
And it needs to have color. It needs to have texture. I think saltiness, sweetness. It needs everything.
Yep.
To kind of hit it out of the park. So we kind
You
of just
can
let
hear
this
it cooking.
cook. Yeah, you hear it cooking. I like to burn the Brussels sprouts a little bit on the bottom of the pan to get that.
So more
roasted.
than brown?
A little bit more than brown. Yeah, a little bit more than brown, just to get that bitterness and that burnt flavor.
Did you
Who
shave
doesn't like
these
burnt
yourself?
food? I
Yeah, I
love it.
shaved these out myself. So we go through 30 pounds of Brussels sprouts a week right now. It's
Wow.
a small restaurant, shaving them all by hand. Which
I
is,
eat raw Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, they're great.
I eat them right off the stalk.
Yeah, they're great. Boiled, sautéed, fried, really any way. So we roast them off and just get a nice sauté on this. And I don't like to let it cook too long because you don't want to overcook the Brussels sprouts.
What happens when they get overcooked?
They just get the texture. The texture gets a little wet and moist, and
What happens? The moisture comes out and makes them soggy?
yeah, the moisture comes out and makes them soggy. So a salad like this it's served best fresh, warm, and eating it right away. We've done this salad for a lot of events, a lot of catering events, and a lot of tasting events, and it speaks to everyone. I don't think anyone's had a bad thing to say about it, and
I won't.
oh,
Well,
I
you love
appreciate that.
Brussels
So,
sprouts.
Oh, Frank, did you zoom in more on it? That's cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
there you go.
See how fancy he is?
And look at that. I didn't mess up.
That's okay. How do
There
you
you
know?
go. That's it.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Something simple, light, and flavorful.
And you serve this? It's not a special. You serve this on the everyday
Yeah,
menu?
we serve this every day. We top it with shrimp, scallops, chicken.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
If people like. If not, we serve it just as is.
Right, so a vegetarian could have it this way.
Yeah.
Or do you ever put like tofu on it?
A few people have asked to cook with tofu. I haven't gone into that. I won't say I won't ever.
I bake tofu sometimes.
Yeah, tofu picks up any flavor you give it.
Yeah,
So,
right. So you
yeah.
put tamari all over it.
Yeah,
and
so
you-
literally
yeah.
that's the good thing about tofu is whatever you want it to taste like are the ingredients that you use
So you
with
could
it.
actually put some Cuban spices on the tofu.
Yeah,
It would absorb it, and then you could cook it with that.
definitely. And I wouldn't say I would never try it. I think as we continue to move forward and I can find the help and the time in order to do so,
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a go.
How much time do you spend like experimenting every week?
I think I'm always experimenting, always scheming in my head.
Yeah.
But I definitely always try at least one thing new every week and try and expand and grow and get better at myself
Yeah.
as a cook and a chef.
Well, it looks really awesome.
Yeah.
Can we try it?
Eat it.
Definitely, definitely.
I'm going to bring you some, Lori.
Got it.
Frank J. Parisi's working. And anyway, he only drinks alcohol when we're on.
I'm sure it's going to be
It's a true
good.
story.
Everything in the restaurant is good. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, make all the desserts, make all.
So, you want to give me some?
Yeah.
I'll give some to
Yeah,
Lori. See if
definitely.
she
I know. The
likes
next
it.
time we're there, we have to try the ice cream. We haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah, well, we're definitely running out of the ice cream because I can't make it fast enough. I make it with little homemade.
What kind of ice cream do you have? Like, what kind of ice cream do you make?
We make. I call it a cafe con leche, which is like a milky caramel.
Oh,
So it's a caramel and milk-based ice cream
Thanks.
with
looks good.
coffee espresso in it.
Oh, we have to try it.
Wow.
I have chocolate and Nutella hazelnut ice cream as well.
Are you kidding?
I make
Why didn't
a
we have
vanilla
ice cream?
ice cream, and I also make a red wine.
A red
So,
wine ice cream?
Red wine ice cream.
That I have to have.
So-
What kind of red wine is it?
I use Cabernet.
Frank, this is delicious. I'm sorry you can't have it.
Let's see. Frank, want me to come over there and feed you?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, so
Oh, this is awesome.
yeah,
You get the hint of cinnamon,
yeah,
Yeah,
Right
it's
away.
like a little
Yeah.
sweet, a little.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
but it's
And
not
the-
too sweet.
no,
No.
yeah.
But you get the hint of that, and
Yeah.
then
So it's got to play with texture, sweetness,
Total
the
texture.
nuttiness.
yeah, the
Of the
nuttiness
pistachio.
of the pistachios, and so it's what I try and do with most of the food that I make, and the food that I serve. I try and play with the variety of textures and flavors,
Yummy.
and salty and sweet and sour and spicy, and
What's your favorite food? Is it Cuban? Is it Asian?
it's
Is
funny. I actually don't eat my own food. Things that I cook, I don't eat. I don't intrigue me or entice
Really?
me to want to eat it.
Do you taste it?
I taste everything I make. There's not one single. You learn by tasting, and you learn flavor profiles, and you learn by trying and tasting and cooking and actually most of your taste buds are in your sinus, and you smell. So you actually smell more than you taste.
Taste.
So my mom tells me I was always meant to be a chef because since could remember, I've been smelling my food.
Wow.
And I smell my food to this day. So I'm always tasting and always trying. But when it comes to final dishes, I don't actually eat my own food.
So what do you make? So when you're at home, you must cook for yourself.
No.
So who cooks for you?
My mom, my girlfriend.
And what's your favorite food?
Pasta. I mean, I'm a simple guy. Pasta with butter and Parmesan cheese and noodles.
Nice.
And that satisfies me. Rice with some fried eggs on top.
I like that.
That satisfies me.
Wow.
I don't eat much. I've never been the type of chef or the foodie to go out to all these fine dining restaurants. I like to think that I've experienced it. I've cooked firsthand in it, and I can go toe to toe with them. But I've never been one to go all out and source all these other restaurants.
Well, I got to say, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And I don't think it's just the restaurant. I think it's the passion you put into
Yeah.
it, the passion your mom and the rest of your family put
Definitely.
into that restaurant. It's very apparent.
Definitely.
You love what you do, and
Yeah.
people just really enjoy it there. Do you come out and say hi to the guests at ever?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I think a lot of the guests and a lot of people like to sit at the bar and watch, and
That's where we like to sit.
Yeah, we like to sit there
and kind
too.
of watch the chaos that's happening
Yeah.
between them and the kitchen.
Yeah.
And but at times I do make my way out, and I do get to talk to some of the guests that come in.
So let's repeat the address of where you are
Yeah.
and your website and anything special that's going on there. We'll do it again. So you're located where,
Yeah.
means on
Located,
New York Avenue?
we're located at 286 New York Avenue.
Landmark being the Book
Landmark
Review.
being the Book Review, just north of Main Street in Girard.
Soon to be Babalu.
Soon to be Babalu
as the Landmark.
as the Landmark, and yeah, I mean it's an ever-growing business. And
Website?
Website is www.babaluny.com.
www.babaluny.com.
Yep.
And you're open Tuesday through Sundays?
Open Tuesday through Sundays, yeah. Saturdays and Sundays. Sundays we do brunch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. so-
Lori,
You do?
we have a
Yes,
new
we
brunch
do.
place.
Yeah.
Father's Day this Sunday,
Yeah,
but
it
the
is.
following Sunday, we'll be in Boston, but the following Sunday, we're going for brunch.
Yeah.
I want to check that
Totally.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
love your place.
Cool.
It's a small brunch menu now, soon to expand as we continue to grow.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope you come back and visit us and like make another dish for
I
us
will,
and
yeah.
talk to us about how you're growing and what you're doing.
Yeah.
We'd love to do that.
I would definitely love to. I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm always scheming, I'm always planning, and I want to do, and I want to expand. So there's always things that I would love to
Yeah.
talk about and create for you guys.
Well, please come back.
Definitely,
Appreciate it.
definitely will.
Next week, I think we're having on it's next week the 17th.
I think so.
Yes.
I think we're having on the president of the HIA, the Hot Pot
Oh, maybe.
Industrial Association. I'm pretty sure we are. So that will be next week. Next week, 5:30 p.m. Monday evenings, Eastern Daylight Savings Time, with Lori Kelleher handling all the comments. We got so many comments tonight. I mean, Lori, I didn't even know how you got through it.
Yeah, Joe Lavolsi was on, and
He was?
yeah, we had a couple people commenting about a great show tonight. Yeah, it was
I
great.
bet Joel
People liked
said
it.
something like, too much headroom, too much headroom.
It's something like that. But we had other people chiming in. They're loving the show. They're loving the cooking. Yeah,
Oh, that's
all
cool.
good.
That's
Yep.
great. That's really good to
All
know.
good.
Yeah. And you got to go there. And I guess we'll see you next week at 5:30 p.m. So, Frank, get ready to roll the credits. Have a great week.